Now if you turn to tab 3, pages 2 through 14, you can see a visual of our methods. In accomplishing our goals, we will be visiting 2 schools per week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This schedule will enable us to visit each of the 6 schools 10 times from August through May.
Today, my students are partaking in a nonprofit grant proposal. They're entering a boardroom with the goal that they have created a nonprofit organization from the ground up. They have written a grant, and they are hoping to have their grant funded for a fiscal year. This project has been about a 5-week project where the students came together, chose their groups, selected a vision, selected a passion, and then researched what was out there that they could, in the grassroots society, which is what the grant is called, reach into their community and give back. I had them start it from scratch, but I also had them go all the way to creating that company. So you will see liability insurance quotes, you'll see car insurance quotes, you'll see that if they're working with children, they now know how to get fingerprints, they know how to have background checks, they know how to actually form a company in the state of California with a name identification, an EIN number, and those types of forms. So the students really are prepared that if in the real world money was to come their way, they could actually get this project started. So in our classroom, we really have a combination of true literature with now moving into what Common Core allows us to do in our classroom, and that's provide a real world situation for these students. So this is their second semester project, this nonprofit grant proposal. Their first semester project was actually a mock interview where, similar to the panel, we invited community members into our school. Students were dressed professionally, and they created a portfolio which had a cover letter, a resume, letters of recommendation. They researched a job description, they made sure that their resume fit that job description, and then they took part in the interview. So building off of that now, we are moving into the panel, and that's walking into a boardroom, being composed, being confident, being able to think on your feet, because part of this is they walk in and they have a 10-minute presentation.
We'll introduce Alejandro with more details about the budget. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Alejandra Solis. I'm the president and treasurer of the Nicastro project. As Jessica just mentioned, our budget is $107,797.53. Our budget consists of 2 parts.
They exit the boardroom, and the panel then decides what we call rapid fire questions.
There are 1,708 homeless students in Rancho, but they mentioned something about summer school.
Yeah, I don't know if it was targeted.
The homeless?
Just homeless. Were they?
No, were they targeting the homeless students who were attending summer school?
When the group comes back into the boardroom, the panel will ask them questions that they are waiting to see if the nonprofit group knows truly what it is that they're asking for and what their company's built upon.
So first of all, can you clarify for me, you might have mentioned this, who is your actual target? So I saw that you're looking at 3 feeder schools, and you mentioned homelessness. Who are you trying to work with specifically?
I can answer that. Our main focus is the students who are struggling academically at these schools. A lot of them tend to be the summer school students, as Adrian had mentioned. They tend to have some struggles at home, and homelessness was an example of how that was a factor in just their education. And so we really want to focus on the students who are having a hard time getting through math or algebra or whatever the subject is, and that's who we want to focus on in the middle schools. In the community, we want to diagnose different needs. And so for the first Signature Youth Service Day, one of them is those that are struggling to find the supplies for school. And so strictly it's the students at the middle schools, but outside of that, it's any need that is out there.
After that piece is done, then the panel will talk about concerns, pros, cons, etc. And the goal for the students is at the end of the presentation is to get a check, and that check is for the funding of their nonprofit organization.
We are going to fund you.
One thing that we decided to do is not only to fund you for what you asked, but to give you more money.
We just felt like 1 year was not enough. So we went ahead and funded you for 2 years full funding. But you can only have 1 truck.
Yeah.